Just scratching the surface. William, thank you for that. Sandra has more now.
For more on this, let's bring in our panel. Marjorie Clifton, former consultant to the Obama campaign and new principal at Clifton Consulting, and Elizabeth Harrington, staff writer for the Washington Free Beacon. Elizabeth, they're saying that this was information so private, it's stuff your spouse or your mother may not know about you. 50 million profiles were breached and that data used. It's really an unbelievable story that's got a lot of people's attention. Should there be an investigation?
Sure. I think you can look at this. I think it's on Facebook, and I think we kind of know social media, Google, Facebook. This is what advertisers do all the time, and the story here now is being targeted that the Trump campaign somehow uses data, and it taints his victory as illegitimate. Another one of these stories that tries to say that Trump's victory was somehow helped either by Russia or social media or fake news. But the problem here is, I don't think this company, you have this pink-haired vegan, Christopher Wiley, who's this whistleblower, says that Cambridge Analytica had the power to warp your perception of what is real around you. But the problem here is people didn't have to have their minds warped to vote for Donald Trump over Hillary Clinton. Well, so in the end, I don't think this affects what happened in 2016 in the election.
Well, I mean, if this is using social media all of a sudden as a weapon or a campaign tool, the point is if Facebook knew that this was happening, Facebook knew and did not inform users, they would be breaking laws in multiple countries, multiple states right here in the United States and Great Britain. They're calling for investigations. Here's one of our state senators. She's Amy Klobuchar from Minnesota. She is saying not only does she want an investigation, she wants Mark Zuckerberg to sit down and answer questions. She tweeted this out over the weekend on this Facebook breach. This is a major breach that must be investigated. It's clear as these platforms can't police themselves. I've called for more transparency and accountability for online political ads. They say, trust us. Mark Zuckerberg needs to testify before Senate Judiciary. Marjorie, will that happen?
Well, this has become politicized because in this case it was used to benefit the Trump campaign. But I think the question that we're dealing with is one of just sort of the new world order with technology, because we see similar issues unrolling when our credit card data is breached, through Target. We've had major corporations deal with similar issues of who is accountable when information is sold. And to be honest, all of us are complicit, and we're also vulnerable when we put our information online in any way, because the information they took was made available by users. So I think, understanding and how companies respond to this, what we saw was when Facebook found out about this particular breach, they actually changed policies to where app providers or people who create apps can no longer ask for or obtain user data, and that's responsiveness. But I think this is part of, again, just sort of this new world order of the way we use technology.
There is a huge question as to whether or not these social media companies need to face more scrutiny, and there's a lot of concern this morning in the investment atmosphere. Facebook shares on the open already down several percent. Investors are concerned about this. Senator Marco Rubio talking about just that and how the regulations are not keeping up with the technology. Listen.
These companies have grown very fast within the span of less than 10 years. Their growth has been a lot faster than perhaps their ability to mature institutionally from within on some of these challenges that they're facing. I think another part about it is sometimes these companies grow so fast and get so much good press, they get up high on themselves that they start to think that perhaps they're above sort of the rules that apply to everybody else.
Elizabeth, you got to wonder if there's other individuals, other companies out there who are doing the same thing right now to impact perhaps the next election.
Right. With social media and advertising, I think to Marjorie's point, we all give into this when we use our cell phone, and we've all seen it when we're having a conversation, and then the next ad that comes up on our phone is something similar to what we just watched or talked about. Of course, it's very powerful, but I think there's a double standard here, though. There's so much scrutiny because Republicans used, data mining and were trying to target voters. In 2008, Barack Obama was the first, Facebook president, right? He used social media. He had one of the co-founders of Facebook, Chris Hughes, working on his campaign. Did that give him an advantage on social media? I bet it did. And so, of course, we should look at these things and be weary about them. But I think there's a double standard here as well, that the idea that, the social media, trip the election for Trump is not the case. And that's what these stories really try to
We still don't even know where this data is. And who's holding on to it, and who knew what and when. Do you think that Mark Zuckerberg is going to have to testify?
Whether he has to, I don't know. Whether he will, you know, he actually has been very forthcoming and willing to sort of engage with multiple administrations at this point. And so, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. And I'm sure he will have things to say about it. Facebook doesn't hide, but, you know, they are a target because they are the largest social media provider there is. And that happens when you're the one on the top. It's like bank robbers go to banks because that's where all the money is. And right now, Facebook is the bank. They have the greatest amount of information on users, and so they're going to be under a lot of scrutiny.
It's amazing. It's a spot where people just freely give up such personal information every single day. Thanks to both of you for being here. Happy Monday to you.
Thank you.
That's the truth, huh?